All right, let's talk about what many people call the holy grail of learning English. We're going to tackle how to stop translating in your head and finally start actually thinking directly in the language. This one little shift, it's the key that unlocks real, natural fluency.
So let me just ask you this, straight up. When someone talks to you in English, does your brain instantly jump back to your native language to figure out what to say? If the answer is yes, hey, you are not alone. But that's the very thing that's holding you back from sounding truly fluent.
Okay, so let's really break down what's happening here. Translating is this clunky two-step process, right? You think in your native language, then you translate it to English. It's slow. It often sounds a little unnatural. But when you think in English, it's a direct line from your thought straight to your mouth. It's fast, it's fluid, it's automatic, and that is our goal.
So here's our game plan. This is a roadmap we're going to follow. First, we're going to define the goal. Then, we'll walk through 4 really clear, actionable steps, building the foundation, making one huge technical switch, connecting English to your emotions, and finally, making sure this new skill becomes a permanent habit.
So yeah, our ultimate mission here is to escape what I call the translation trap. This is the big prize, the thing that really separates the intermediate speakers from the people who are genuinely fluent. Here's the problem in a nutshell. Your native language is acting like a middleman. It's a bridge, but it's a slow and inefficient one. The whole point of everything we're about to do is to completely cut out this middleman, so you can communicate directly and instantly.
Okay, let's jump into our first step, building the foundation. We're going to start really small here, building up confidence with just single words and then moving on to simple sentences. This is the part that literally anyone can start doing, like right now.
And this whole foundation, it's built on 2 super simple, practical exercises. First up, we have what's called the labeling phase, and then once you get comfortable with that, we'll move into the narrator phase.
Well, let's actually do this together, right now. Just look around the room you're in. When you see something, your only job is to think of the English word for it first. No translating. So you see a desk, your brain just says desk. See a window? Window. This creates a direct connection between the object and the English word.
So once labeling starts to feel easy, you graduate. You become the narrator of your own life. All you do is describe what you're doing in simple English sentences. So as you're making breakfast, your inner voice is just saying, I am opening the fridge. I see the milk. I know it feels a little weird at first, but trust me, it totally works.
And this is a really, really crucial tip. What happens if you don't know the word for pouring? Do not stop. Don't grab your dictionary. Momentum is everything. Just swap in a simpler word like pudding or moving and just keep that internal story going. Do not break the flow.
All right, let's get to step 2. And honestly, this might be the single most important technical change you can make. This is about literally rewiring your brain to operate inside an English-only environment.
So here's the problem. When you look up a word, let's say huge, and your dictionary just gives you the word in your native language, well, you are actively practicing and strengthening that bad translation habit. You're just making the middleman stronger.
But the solution? Oh, it's so simple, it's brilliant. Switch to an English to English dictionary. Now, when you look up huge, the definition is very big. See what's happening? You're using English you already know to learn new English. This keeps your brain working completely inside the English ecosystem.
And that right there, that's the magic phrase. This is the moment it all clicks into place. When you make this one switch, you are officially using English to learn English. It's this powerful, self-improving loop that just puts your fluency on the fast track.
So let's move on to step 3. And this is where it gets really interesting. We've covered the basics, we've done the technical stuff. Now let's talk about the human connection. Because language isn't just about logic, is it? It's about feeling.
The goal here is to connect English words directly to your feelings. So when you feel tired, don't translate it. Just let your brain think the instinctive English phrase, ugh, I'm exhausted. Something surprises you? Wow. Or no way? These little exclamations are fantastic because they're instinctive. They're a shortcut that completely bypasses that slow, logical translation part of your brain.
Okay, we've got the techniques. We know what to do. Now for the final step. How do we actually make it stick? This is all about turning these little exercises into a real, sustainable, long-term habit.
And we're going to use 2 really powerful strategies for this. First, a simple visualization exercise we'll call the daily recap. And second, a really clever psychological trick called a thinking trigger.
The daily recap is so easy.
As you're lying in bed about to fall asleep, just replay the events of your day in your head. But do it all in English. Today I went to the bank, I had a long meeting. Not only is it great practice for thinking in English, but it's also a fantastic, totally natural way to practice your past tense verbs.
Now, let's have a reality check. Trying to force yourself to think in English 24/7 right from the beginning, that's a recipe for burnout. It is so mentally exhausting. So the key is not to go all in at once. The key is to make it a manageable habit using specific triggers. What you do is link the new habit to something you already do. For example, you can create a door trigger. Every time you walk through any door, that's your cue to think in English for just 60 seconds. Or maybe your entire commute on the bus or the train becomes your dedicated English thinking time. It makes the habit specific and way more achievable.
So let's just pull it all together. This table pretty much shows you the entire path. You start out at the beginner level with simple labeling. You see an object, you think the English word. Then you move up to narrating, where you describe what you're doing, and eventually you get to the advanced level where you can have whole debates with yourself in your head, all in English.
You know, the biggest thing to take away from all this is that thinking in English is not magic. It's not some gift you're born with. It is a skill. It's a mental muscle that you can absolutely train and build, one step at a time, using these exact methods.
And so that just leaves us with one final question to get you started. Don't worry about tomorrow or next week. Right now, today, what is the very first thing you are going to intentionally think in English?